what's going on in Florida right now at the hands of Governor DeSantis is pretty dystopian. He's doing a lot of different types of legislation, a lot of types of complaints and arguments, and a lot of rhetoric that's just more, I don't know why, but it seems like the Republican Party is going more and more towards this like autocracy, like this tyranny type of shit. A little fascist, don't you think?
Yeah, like
I don't think that it's anything crazy to say at this
can
point.
you explain to me this guy talking about proposing schoolgirls giving their menstrual cycles to the government? Like, what the fuck?
They only do that types of stuff with women too.
Like, that's weird. That's like, I mean, like, we know that's beyond weird. Like, what I'm trying to say is like, what the fuck is going on in Florida? Like, I guess you could say like it's Florida, like we expect this, but like what? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
On the menstrual cycles?
And yeah,
I just don't think that they would do anything. I know they wouldn't do anything like that about men. It's the same thing with like the Supreme Court knocking down abortion rights and stuff like that. Like they only do this type of stuff with women, and then they only do this types of stuff furthermore with minorities.
But why though? Like, I understand this is all abortion related, but
that's the reason why. It's because they're women and they're minorities.
Seems like some like sick pedo fascist weirdo's fantasy. Like I don't. That's just bizarre to me. And if people are actually going to stand for this, they're going to continue supporting this man, and he's doing this to your daughters, that's bizarre.
Yeah, does he have children?
Bizarre. I'm sure he does. I don't know, but I'm sure he does have children. He seems like he definitely probably has a couple children.
That's one of the things that I always wonder, like when I hear about all these types of politicians that are making just the most evil, just the most asinine, ludicrous legislation in the world. It's like, don't you have children?
Another thing that he was getting into was that there was like a bar. Well, they had I would say a place that had a liquor license. So of course, it's some kind of bar. They hosted a drag show, and now he's trying to take their liquor license for it. You're indoctrinating children, and blah blah blah. It's like, why would children be anywhere where there's a liquor license in the establishment like that? That doesn't even.
Yeah, there is that narrative, huh?
That doesn't even sound right to me.
One of those sexualization narratives.
Yeah, it just seems like blatant attacking. It just seems like blatant attacking of people. It just seems like these guys want to take this. They want to take it started in Florida as a testing ground and take this nationally.
The "Don't Say Gay" bill, kind of along
the
the same lines.
"Don't Say Gay" bill. Like it's just like, dude, what are your actual policies that are not just attacking people?
Well, they're going for that niche. We already know. They're going for that small just little niche right there. People. Yeah, the ones who are like the neo-Nazis these days. They like those guys, don't they?
I mean, he's straight up a Klansman. Like this point, this dude is like a straight up like weirdo. Like we've known this for a while, but he's pushing it as hard as he can push it. What do you? It
is something to look out for, you know.
You think he could get to the White House?
I think he does have plans on running. Yeah, at least that's the rumors. I don't see why
personally,
not.
You think Americans are going to just ignore this and be like, yeah, he's attacking undesirables? Of course.
Do I think he's going to run? Not sure. Do I think he's going to be voted for? Probably. Like I said, he's preaching to a base. There is a base for him. There is a base for these. There's a lot of Republicans that are taking this Donald Trump thing and running with that shit. I'm not a big politics guy at all, but I do hear the stories. And the overall narrative coming from the Republican Party is that these guys, they like that little fascist. I mean, it's weird because at the same time that, you know, Republicans are supposed to stand for like, we want small government. We don't want government, you know, influencing anything that's going on in our private day-to-day lives. They're overreaching constantly, but it's for these minority groups.
Well, for those other groups, those minority groups, overreach, bend them over, do what you got to do, but don't do it to us though. That's really what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with us. But
and I could see people voting for him. I don't know if he would necessarily win. I don't want to get into all that. You know, I don't even know who's running. Period. It's too early to tell. But it is kind of it's just something to look out for. You know, it's just something to be aware of. We should all be looking to Florida because a lot of times in the way that these politics games work, they look for somebody that's going to be the leader, the ones that's going to lead them into this new era of election cycle, this, and the third. And Ron DeSantis could be that guy. You know, I've even heard people like Joe Rogan talking about Ron DeSantis. So you get certain people that have a voice, you know, kind of bigging up the name. Ron DeSantis is a name that could be in the hat. I don't know if he was supporting him. I think he did say that he would make a good president. He said something along those lines. People can fact check me, but I'm pretty sure they were talking about Ron DeSantis, and he did mention that name along a couple of other names that could be possible presidential candidates. And we already know, like even like the moderates. We were looking up the research just earlier. A lot of the moderates could be like, "Oh yeah, like he doesn't stand for abortion. I'll vote for him," or, I just don't want big government.
They'll come down to one issue. They swing each way, and they'll ignore all the bullshit that he does as long as he's anti-abortion or he's anti-this or anti-whatever they want. That's enough for them to swing that way, and they'll ignore all the other evil shit that he does.
Seems like it happened with Trump, so I can see him. He's walking in his shoes a little bit, so I can see it.